Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this narration of the web novel Solo Apocalypse, taken from Royal Road. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 2. We, or I, depending on how someone saw it, moved cautiously through the underground wing. I thought the underground labs would be infested with those ugly green things. It turned out it was alone. Nothing had come looking for it. When that became clear, the objective shifted to protection or shelter. My clone took point, with both of us hesitant at every door. Him less so. Earlier, there'd been something in one of the labs strong enough to make an audible knock on the thick steel. We'd left that particular room alone, venturing down the laboratory wing, and too fearful to try another sealed door. The lights above flickered ominously. I realized between me and my other self, I needed no words. It was nothing in any language I was familiar with, a telepathic intuition that proved itself over and over in the small time I had created him. We were inexplicably synced. I was inexplicably synced, which made the roundabout sense considering that we were both myself. My head hurt. We pushed down the hallway, clone taking up point. He turned right, then turned left, and from 5 meters behind, it was like I already knew what was up ahead. My other self didn't turn to me in surprise, seeking a reaction or communicating anything significant. Instead, I knew. To the left, the hallway ended and opened up into something that shouldn't have been. A cave, judging from the stalagmites, slick rock, and cold draft. One that most definitely didn't exist under the university before. To the right was what looked like to be a storage closet. We started with that. I deemed watching the cave of less risk than opening the door, which spoke to the danger I felt. My clone took a second task. It was a strange telepathic perspective as he opened the storage closet, racing. Instead of clawing monsters or instantaneous death, a chest was glowing green, a richer shade than even my pale eyes. Notice, you have discovered an uncommon chest. There was that notification again. That chime in my head. It was something between spoken, written, and felt, and none of them at all. A simple, sudden knowing. The uncommon chest was ornate, the kind of container you'd almost be sure held valuables. With everything going on, the glowing chest would be nothing else but a part of the new reality. And if it held valuables, it didn't take long to decide what to do. My clone opened it, unafraid of traps or danger that might have given me pause. He sat on his knees, undid the latches, and opened up the box of light. The glow faded as he did so, revealing an item within. Notice, you have gained spider silk backpack. It was a backpack made of black leather or hide. That was it. In terms of valuables, wasn't exactly what I was expecting. It certainly didn't detract from the feeling of constant vulnerability and exposure. Staring into the cave system, I imagined something moving. Figures behind the stalagmites, eyes in the darkness. It wasn't safe here, but it was this, or the campus. I was torn, shocked into indecision, hesitance born of fear. I took the bag from my other self. It's lighter than it has any right to be, he whispered, and I think it's bigger on the inside. Though I already knew it, I think we both knew I needed someone to talk to, even if it was myself. Item, spider silk backpack. A backpack crafted from superior light materials. It is enchanted for extra storage and weight reduction. I took the description in stride, trying to make sense of everything, see where this fit into my survival. It's good for supplies, I muttered, regarding the description as it appeared in my mind. It was more than just sight that communicated what this item was. I had looked at my skill description, hadn't I? Could I do the same for my class? What did it mean to be solo? It sounded so much like a game. I wasn't sure whether to embrace it or understand that this new reality was no such thing. Class Solo. The Solo excels at what their name suggests. They are self-sufficient individuals who rely entirely on themselves. Their speciality lies in their capacity to act on their own. Their skills have a wide range of applications and are not necessarily confined to any one field, only that whatever path chosen is walked alone. I looked to my clone. Guess you don't count. The other me shrugged. Technically, we are solo. Kind of. So, never alone is a way for me to move in a group without being in a group, I muttered. Actually, I stepped to the left, leaving another of myself behind, and suddenly there were 3 of me. He looked at both of us, and all 3 of us intoned, "Weird." Evan the third asked the question on my mind. "Can you do it again?" I tried, but 3 of me seemed to be the limit. Right now, at least. I couldn't tell what governed that limit, but there was a sneaking suspicion. Name Evan Winst, level 2, class solo. Strength 6, Constitution 5, Dexterity 5, Agility 6, Perception 9, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 13, Willpower 15, Charisma 4, Luck 4, Stat Points 1, Skills, never alone. That instinctual knowledge guided me, and I had a sense that never alone was primarily governed by some combination of wisdom, willpower, and charisma. I looked at the skill more closely. Skill, never alone. Even working alone, it never hurts to have another set of eyes, better yet when they're yours. You are able to replicate yourself to a certain degree and capacity. Max copies, wisdom plus willpower plus charisma divided by 10. Copies have halved strength, constitution, dexterity, and agility. All other attributes are retained. More details appeared. Interesting. So you guys have half my physical capability, but you keep everything else, I said to myself. Myselves. The fact perception is retained seems to be the most crucial. More eyes, more information. Evan the second added. Something we're lacking, I replied softly, looking at the cave. I shifted my mental perspective on myself, naming them second and third. They didn't need anything more to figure out what I was planning. A single glance at the cave, an idea, and the 2 were suddenly in a very intense match of rock, paper, scissors. Second ended up losing. He exhaled, but didn't argue or dally. Then with a glance at us, he started creeping into the cave. A forward scout, expendable, ideal. I felt bad about sending myself to his doom, but I realized that is, him, deemed it just as necessary. I tracked his progress in a strange telepathic perspective, a second set of eyes, third taken to watching the intersection hallway for anything that might have followed us. I glanced at him. Can you see what second does, the same way I do? Yeah, he's moving between the stalagmites. He inhaled sharply, having seen what I saw. I thought that was a puddle. We all did. But second smelled the iron wafting up from the liquid, too dark for any of the red color to appear. Blood. The initial lobby of the cave was empty save for that. He'd walked the perimeter and noted the tunnels, of which there were many. They led in every direction. He chose one at random and continued upwards, seeking the surface. A breeze of air, no. A breath. Second looked up, and I felt his fear as an echo no less real than my own. Something hung on the wall, shining eyes in the darkness, long limbs that came to scythes, skittering. Then he died. My perspective snapped back to my own self, so sucked into his eyes that I slammed back into the wall, hyperventilating, wide eyes looking around, feeling at my throat, my torso. I sat, paralyzed, and I realized I was screaming. End of chapter. I would quickly like to thank the Tier 5 members, Marky, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Oakfield, Lord Azrakul, and It's Difficult to Pronounce. Thank you very much.